Okay, here you go. Junie B. Jones is Not a Crook by Barbara Park. Illustrated by Denise Brunkis. Okay. Chapter 1. No good reason. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. Here's a story for you. It's called Once Upon a Time. My grandfather named Frank Miller went to the store and he bought me some mittens. Once upon a time, my grandfather named Frank Miller went to the store and he bought me some mittens. They were made out of black furry fur. And guess what? It wasn't even my birthday, or Christmas, or Valentine's Day. Plus, the mittens were not even on sale. Grandpa Miller just bought them for no good reason, and that is the bestest reason I've ever heard of. That's how I come to love that guy very much. Plus, he can also skip. The end. I like the story a real lot, because guess why? I didn't even make it up, that's why. That adventure actually happened to me. My grandpa Frank Miller really did buy me some mittens for no good reason, and they are gorgeous, I tell you. When I first opened them, I got filled with glee. Glee is when you run and jump and skip and laugh and clap and dance on the top of the dining room table. Then your mother takes you down from the table and she carries you to your room for a timeout. Timeout kills the glee. I wore my new mittens the whole entire morning. Plus, I also wore them to afternoon kindergarten. I wore them with my attractive winter jacket. Only it wasn't actually cold out. Only who even cares? Because that outfit looked very beautiful together. I showed my mittens to my best friend named Grace. Also, I showed them to a variety of strangers. After I got to school, I held my hands over my head and I ran all over the playground. Look, everybody, look at my new mittens! My grandpa Frank Miller bought them for no good reason! I waved them all around in the air. How many children see these lovely things? Raise your hand, I hollered. Nobody raised their hands. How many children think these mittens are gorgeous? Please come forward, I yelled. Nobody came forward. I put my hands back down and walked to that Grace. I couldn't create any interest, I said. Only guess what? Just then, I spotted my other bestest friend named Lucille. I ran my fastest to greet her. Lucille, look at my gorgeous new mittens. See them? They are made out of black fluffy fur. Lucille petted them. My family has lots of fur, she said. My mother has a fur cape, and my aunt has a fur jacket, and my uncle has a fur hat. Plus, my Nana just bought a brand new mink coat. Only she can't wear it outside of the house, or else people will throw paint on her. My mouth came all the way open. Why, Lucille? Why will people throw paint all over your Nana? I asked. Lucille crossed her arms. Don't you know anything, Junie B. Jones? It's because people who love furry animals don't like them being made into coats for Nanas. Just then, I felt relief in me. Because I'm not even a nanny. That's why. And besides, my mittens aren't even made out of real furry animals. They're just made out of fake furry animals. And those kinds don't even count. All of a sudden, the school bell rang. I zoomed to my room like a speeding rocket. Because guess what? More people to show my mittens to. That's why. Chapter 2. Fur Hands. I showed my mittens to my teacher. Her name is Mrs. She has another name too, but I just like Mrs. And that's all. Feel them, Mrs. Feel how soft they are. I rubbed them on her face. Ooh, they are soft, Junie B, she said. Be sure and put them in your jacket pockets so they won't get lost, okay? I skipped very happy to my seat. Yeah, only I'm not even going to lose them, I just said to myself. I'm going to wear them right on my hands that whole livelong day. Because I love these guys, that's why. I took off my attractive winter jacket and sat down at my table. Then I tapped Lucille with my furry mittens. Hello, how are you today? I have fur hands. See them, Lucille? See my hands of fur? I flew them in the air. This is what fur hands look like when they're flying in the air, I said. I waved hello. This is what fur hands look like when they're waving hello, I said. Lucille did a frown. You're being annoying, she said. That's how come I turned around, and I smiled at a boy named William. I have fur hands, William. See them? See my fur hands? I tapped on his head. This is what fur hands look like when they're tapping you on your head, I said. Just then I got up from my chair, and I skipped to my boyfriend named Ricardo. I tickled him under the chin with my softy hands of fur. This is what fur look like when they're tickling you under your chin, I said. Then I grinned and grinned, 'cause that boy brings out the best in me, that's why. Pretty soon, Mrs. saw me out of my seat. She held my hand and marched me back to my table. This is how fur hands look when they're marching to the table, I said. Mrs. plopped me in my chair. And then she pulled off my fur hands, and she put them on her desk. I did a sad sigh. This is how fur hands look when they're no longer in my possession, I whispered to myself. After that, I put my head on my desk, and I covered up with my arms, and I didn't even come out for a real long time. Chapter 3. Being Brownie. Mrs. said I could have my mittens back at recess. I stared and stared at the clock. Then I tapped my fingers on my table, and I did a loud breath. Lucille tattletaled on me. Junie began, she tapping her fingers and making loud breaths. I can't even concentrate on my work, she grouched. Mrs. came to my table. Hello, how are you today? I said, kind of nervous. I am fine, except I don't actually have my mittens. She tapped her foot real fast. That was not a good sign, I think. Only guess what? Just then the bell rang for recess. That's what you call Saved by the Bell. Oh boy, I yelled. Oh boy, 'cause now I can have my mittens back. Right, Mrs. Right. I zoomed to her desk and put them on my hands. Then I rubbed those softy things all over my cheeks. It's good to be with you again, I whispered into their fur. After that, I put on my attractive winter jacket and I skipped outside with my friends. Me and Tattletale Lucille and that Grace play horses together at recess. I am Brownie, Lucille, Blackie, and Grace is Yellowy. I'm Yellowy, shouted that Grace. I'm Blackie, shouted Lucille. I'm Brownie, I shouted. Only just then I looked at my mittens. I did a frown, 'cause there's a little bit of a problem here, I think. Yeah, only how can I even be Brownie? 'Cause my horse paws are black, and so I'm two different colors apparently. Lucille and that Grace had frowns too. Said that Grace. Said Lucille. I said. Just then, that Grace clapped her hands together, very excited. I know, Junie B. Today, you and Lucille can trade. Today, Lucille can be Brownie, and you can be Blackie. So that way, your horse paws will be the right color. Me and Lucille looked and looked at the girl. 'Cause what kind of crazy idea was that? I did a huffy breath. Yeah, only how can I be Blackie when I'm already Brownie, Grace? And I've been Brownie for my whole entire career. You can't just go changing that, you know. Yeah, Grace, you can't just go changing, said Lucille. That Grace looked embarrassed at herself. Oh, yeah? What was I thinking, she said, very mumbling. After that, all of us sat down in the grass, and we tapped our chins. We thanked and thanked and thanked. Then, all of a sudden, my whole face lighted up. Hey, I thought of it. I know exactly what to do, I shouted. I jumped up. Start again, Grace. Say your name again. Say that you are Yellowy. That Grace looked curious at me. I'm Yellowy, she said. I pointed to Lucille. I'm Blackie, she said next. I spun around real joyful. I'm Brownie, I shouted. Only guess what? Yesterday my Grandpa Brownie me black furry mittens, and so that is how come I'm two different colors, apparently. After that, all of us did a high fives, and we started playing horse. We galloped and trotted and snorted and snuffled. Only too bad for me, because the sun kept beating down on my horse head, and I got drippy inside of my attractive winter jacket. I'm going to die from heart perspiration, I said. That is how I trotted over to a tree, and I took off all my stuff. First, I took off my attractive winter jacket. Then I took off my furry black mittens, and I piled them in a careful pile. After that, I galloped away to find my horse friends, and we played and played. Pretty soon, Mrs. Blue heard a loud whistle. That means the end of recess. Coming, shouted Yellowy. Coming, shouted Blackie. Coming, I shouted. Then I hurried up back to the tree to get my stuff. Only guess what? I saw something very terrible there. That's what. And it's called, "Hey, somebody stole my mittens!" Chapter 4, No Teddy Backpack. I runned all around the tree. 911! 911! 911! I hollered. Somebody stole them! Somebody stole my mittens! Mrs. came very quick. They stole them! They stole my mittens! 911! I shouted some more. Mrs. bended down to me. Who, Junie B? Who stole them? She asked. A stealer, that's who. A stealer stole them. And so what kind of school is this? Because I didn't even know there was crooks at this place. Mrs. said, calm down my voice. Yeah, only I can't even calm it down that good, because I am heartsick, that's why. Heartsick is a grown-up word for when your heart is sick. I looked at the ground real sad. Now all I have left is my dumb, attractive jacket. Mrs. picked it up, then she held my hand, and me and her started to walk. You and I are going to the office, she told me. I quick tried to get my hands away from her. No, Mrs., I'm not allowed to go there. Mother said if I get sent to the office one more time, I'll get grounded, young lady. Tears came to my eyes. Grounded, young lady, is when I have to stay on my own ground, I said. Plus, I can also go in the rug. Mrs. smiled. I'm not going to take you to the principal's office to punish you, Junie B, she said. I'm taking you to find your mittens. I did a gasp. Principal? I finished up. Principal stole my mittens? No, Mrs. laughed real loud. No, Junie B. He didn't steal your mittens. The office is where the lost and found is located. After that, she took my hand and we hurried to the office. There is a grouching typing lady at that place. I am not fond of her. Junie B needs to look through the lost and found, Mrs. told her. Please send her back to class when she is finished. Then Mrs. went back to room 9 and left me there all by myself. The typing lady looked over at the counter at me. I did a gulp. Yeah, only I'm not even bad today, I explained, very nervous. Somebody stole my mittens, and that is the end of my tale. The typing lady kept typing on and looking at me. She didn't say any words. Sweat came to my head on my head. Whew, it's warmish in here, isn't it? I said. Just then, I heard a door open. It was Principal. He was coming out of his office. I jumped up and looked at his sight, because I know that guy very good. Principal, look, it's me. It's Junie B. Jones. My mittens got stolen on the playground, so Mrs. brought me here to get them. So just hand them over, and I will be on my way. No questions asked. Principal looked at me funny. Then he went to the closet and pulled out a big box. This is the lost and found Junie B, he explained. Anytime someone finds something that has been lost, they bring it here. And we put it in this box. How come? I asked. How come they bring it here instead of taking it home? Because one time I found a nickel in the street, and Daddy said I could put it in my bank. Because finding isn't the same as stealing. Right, Principal? Like, finding is a lucky duck. Principal laughed a little bit. Well, finding a nickel in the street is different, Junie B, he said. For one thing, it would be almost impossible to discover the owner of the nickel really was. And for another thing, losing a nickel really isn't a big deal. But when someone loses something personal, like mittens for instance, well, that's a very big deal. And so if someone else finds the mittens, they can bring them to the lost and found, and the owner can come and get them back. He smiled. And that makes everyone happy, Junie B, he said. The owner is happy because she has her mittens back, and the person who found them is happy because she's done a good deed. He pointed to the piece of paper taped on the box. See this? This is a poem in the third grade wrote about lost and found. It says, "If you find stuff, bring it in all day long, you'll wear a grin." I did a frown. Well, that's different. Yeah, only here's the problem. I didn't lose my mittens. They got stolen on purpose. And so no one will bring them in and wear a grin, probably. Principal raised his eyebrows. Well, you never know, Junie B. Why don't you look over there and see? He opened up the box for me. That's when my eyes got big and wide, because it was filled with the most wonderfulest items I've ever saw. There were sweaters and sweatshirts and baseball caps and gloves and balls and a lunchbox and a scarf and sunglasses and a watch with Mickey Mouse on it. Also, there was a backpack that looked like a teddy bear. Ooh, I've always wanted one of these, I hollered, thrilled. I put it on my back and skipped around the office. How does it look back there, I asked. Principal runned after me. He took the teddy off my back and put it back in the box. We're looking for your mittens, remember? Just then I felt upset, because I almost forgot about those furry guys. And that's why... Oh yeah, my mittens, I said real glum. I looked through the box some more. They're not here, I said. My mittens are gone forever and ever, I think. I did a sad sigh. I said, because this teddy backpack will ease my pain, I believe. Principal said no. How come, I asked? 'Cause the owner doesn't even want it anymore, I bet. Her mother already bought her a new teddy backpack, probably, so this one is just going to go to waste. Principal stood me up and turned me to the door. That I am leaving, I think. Come back tomorrow and look for your mittens again, he said. I talked real fast. Yeah, only I just remembered something. I used to have a teddy backpack just like that one, maybe. Only then I lost it, probably. And so I better take that one home with me, else my mother might be mad. Principal walked me to the door. He faced me down the hall. Goodbye, Junie B, he said. I hung my head real disappointed. 'Cause guess why? Goodbye means no teddy backpack. Gargling and scribbling. Room 9 is way far from Principal's office. I had to stop at the water fountain, or else I might not make it. I pressed the water button with my thumb, and then I puckered my lips and I sucked the water in. I didn't even put my mouth on the spout, 'cause there's lip dirt on that thing, of course. I sloshed the water all around in my cheeks. Then I bended my head way back and I did some gargles. I can gargle very perfect, except I can't keep the water in my actual mouth. It ran down the sides and dribbled on the floor. I splashed it in it with my toe. That's when I saw something very wonderful down there. Hey, it's one of those pens that writes 4 different colors, I said. I quick picked it up and pushed a little red button on top. A red popped out of the bottom. I scribbled red all over my hand. Wow, wowie, wow! I love this thing, I said. After that, I pushed the green button and scribbled green scribble. And I pushed the blue button, scribbled blue scribble. Plus, I also pushed the black button, scribbled black scribbles. This pen makes scribbling a pleasure, I said. I put it in my pocket and started skipping to room 9. Only too bad for me, 'cause all of a sudden, I remembered about the lost and found. I stopped. Oh no, I wish I didn't even remember about that. I said. Now I have to take my pen to Lost and Found, or else I won't wear a grin. I did a frown, because something didn't make sense here, that's why. Yeah, only I was already wearing a grin, I said. I wear the grin as soon as I saw this wonderful thing. And so taking it to the office will only make me sad. I tapped on my chin. Maybe principal is a little mixed up about this. I said to just myself, I'm pretty sure I would be happier if I kept it. And here's another thing I am thinking. I'm thinking whoever owned this pen didn't even take good care of it, so I will give it a good home. And so what it can be a gooder deed than that. I took it out of my pocket and looked at it. Plus, this even makes sense, because first I got my mitten stolen, and then I couldn't have the teddy bear backpack, so keeping this pen is fair and square. All of a sudden, my whole face lighted up, because I just thought of a different poem, that's why. It's called Finders, Keepers, Losers, Weepers. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers, I said real thrilled. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. And I jumped up and down very happy, because everybody says that. And so Finders, keepers is really the rule, I bet. After that, I put my pen back in my pocket, and I skipped the rest of the way to room 9. Chapter 6. My Grandpa's Wallet. I kept my pen in my pocket the whole rest of the day. I didn't even want people to see it, or else they might tattletale to Mrs., and she would take me to put them in the Lost and Found. I behaved myself very good, because I didn't want to attract attention. That's why. I kept my hand in my pocket so my pen would not fall. Also, I kept thinking about my mittens, because I still miss those furry guys. I put my head down on my table. Maybe my Grandpa Miller might bite me some more furry mittens, I whispered, because that would be a perfect solution, I think. I raised up my head. Hey, yeah! Then I would have a wonderful new mittens, plus a wonderful new pen. And so what more could a girl ask for? That's what I like to know. I sat up in my chair and tapped on Lucille. Guess what, Lucille? Maybe my Grandpa Frank Miller might buy me some new mittens. Then all my troubles will be over. Lucille said, whoop-de-doo for me. I know it is whoop-de-doo, I said, real thrilled. And so thank you for your support. After school, me and my bestest friend named Grace rode the bus together. I ran home from my corner like a speedy bullet. My Grandpa Frank Miller was babysitting my baby brother named Ollie. Grandpa Frank Miller! Grandpa Frank Miller! We gotta go to the mitten store! We gotta go to the mitten store! I hollered real loud. Grandpa Frank Miller was in the living room with Ollie. He looked funny at me. Go where? He asked. To the mitten store. To the mitten store. We're gotta go to the mitten store. I pulled on his hand. Get up, let's get a wiggle on. Grandpa looked confused at me. That's how come I had to sit down, and I had to tell him what happened at school. Somebody stole my mittens, I said. They stole them while I was being brownie, and I didn't even know that they were crooks at that place. Grandpa Frank Miller shook his head very sad. I guess you can find crooks almost anywhere, honey, he said. I know what I told him. That's how come I'm never going to see those furry guys again. And so you and me have to go to the mitten store. I felt in his back pocket. Then I danced around real thrilled. Hooray, I shouted. Hooray for the big fat wallet. 'Cause you got cash in there, right, Grandpa? Right? Grandpa Frank Miller laughed. Yes, I do. I've got cash all right, he said. But I'm afraid we won't be able to buy you more mittens. The mittens I bought you were the only furry mittens ones they had left. I bought you the very last pair. Just then, all the happy went right out of me. 'Cause I didn't actually count on that terrible development. Yeah, only we have to. Grandpa, we have to buy more furry mittens, or else what will I even do? Grandpa Miller ruffled my hair. Did you look in the lost and found at school? He asked. I did a sad breath. Yeah, only that dumb thing doesn't work that good, because people don't always turn stuff in. I patted my pen in my pocket. Trust me on this, I said real soft. Well, your mittens can still turn up, he said. Folks will surprise you sometimes. Then he told me a story about his wallet. A few years ago, I lost my wallet at the mall. I sure I would never ever see it again, he said. I bobbed my head up and down. I know it, that's because of finders keepers, losers weepers, I said. Finders keeper, losers weepers is a rule, right, Grandpa? Grandpa Miller smiled. Well, it might be the rule for some people, he said, but luckily it's not the rule for everyone, because the very next day, when I went out to get my mail, there it was. My wallet was sitting right smack in the middle of my mailbox, and not even one single penny was missing. His eyes looked happily and sparkly. Can you imagine that, little girl? He asked. Someone had the chance to take everything in my wallet, but instead they drove it all the way to my house, and they put it in my mailbox. Just then, he reached into his back pocket and pulled out his wallet. Look what I have lost if they hadn't returned. Would have lost. He took a picture out of his wallet and handed it to me. It's you and a baby, I asked. That's not just any baby, he said. That's you, Junie B. That's a picture of the very first time I ever held you. He took the picture back and stared at it. Nicest thing a stranger ever done for me. Bringing this picture back, he whispered real soft. Then he leaned over again and kissed my cheek. After I talked to my grandpa, I went to my room. I closed my door real secret. Then I took my wonderful pen out of my pocket, and I did a big sigh, because I only had confusion in me, that's why. I wish I had never ever heard that wallet story, I said, because finders keeper, losers weepers isn't the rule apparently, and so now maybe I might be a crook. I looked at my wonderful pen. Yeah, only I don't even feel like a crook. I feel like a lucky ducky, but I still have to take this thing to the lost and found probably, and then it will go to waste just like that teddy backpack. All of a sudden, I heard Mother and Daddy come from work. I quick hid my pen under my mattress, to those who would not be understanding of the situation. They came in my room and kissed me hello. I told them what happened to my mittens. Then I begged and begged for them to take me to the store, but Mother said there's no more left, and Daddy said there's no more left, and so there is no more left apparently. That's how come I got depressed all over again, and I couldn't even sleep good that night. I kept on wondering about who was the mitten crook, and what did he look like? Because I've seen crooks on TV before, and they are biggish and meanish with tattoos on their selves. Just then, I sat up in my bed, because a good idea popped into my head. That's why. Hey, a tattoo is easy to spot, I bet, I said, and so maybe I can find that crook on the playground tomorrow. After that, I went right to sleep, because I would need my strength for crook looking. The next day at recess, I didn't play horses with Lucille and that Grace. Instead, I run all around the playground looking for the mitten crook. Only too bad for me, because most of the children had their jackets on, and so I couldn't even see any crooks with tattoos. Pretty soon the bell rang. This is when my eyes got tears in them, because I would never ever see my mittens again. Not ever, ever, never. I started walking to room 9. My nose was sniffling and drippity. I I wiped it on with my attractive jacket sleeve. Then, all of a sudden, a pink fluffy girl slipped past me. She had on a pink fluffy dress with pink fluffy socks and shoes and a pink fluffy jacket that made of pink fluffy fur. And guess what? She had black furry mittens in her pink fluffy pocket. My eyes got big and wide. "Hey, my mittens, my mittens, my mittens!" I screamed real loud. And then I put my head down and I zoomed at her like a speeding bullet. Mrs. saw me running. She grabbed me by my attractive winter jacket. I jumped up and down. That pink fluffy girl stole my mittens. She is the crook. Only her jacket is covering up her tattoo. So that's what had me stumped. Mrs. called to the pink fluffy girl. She skipped over to where we were. I kept on jumping. "You stole my mittens! You stole them! My mittens!" "No, I didn't," she said. "I didn't steal anything. I found these mittens. They were right in the glass, and so I thought no one wanted them." "I did," I yelled. "I wanted them. My Grandpa Miller brought them for no good reason, and I have been worrying about them all day and all night. And that is called heartache, madame." Mrs. said to hush my voice. She took the mittens away from the pink fluffy girl and gave them back to me. Then she bended down and she talked to the pink fluffy girl real serious. "Even if you thought no one wanted these mittens, it was wrong for you to take them," she told me. The pink fluffy girl pointed at me. "But you didn't even take good care of them," she said. I stamped my foot. "Yes, I did. I did too take care of them. I left them with my attractive winter jacket, 'cause I didn't even know there was crooks at this place." Mrs. said hush to me again. "You should have taken them to the lost and found," she told the pink fluffy girl. "Yeah, 'cause when I would have found them when I looked in there," I said. "And so what do you think that box is there for? My health?" The pink fluffy girl started to cry. "But I really, really love them," she said. Mrs. smoothed her hair. "I'm afraid that's not the issue," she said. "Yeah, we're afraid that's not the issue," I said, "'cause finders keepers isn't the rule apparently. And so from now on, if you find my stuff, you have to take it to the lost and found. Plus, you can also put it in my grandpa's mailbox." Mrs. looked at me for a real long time. She said I am getting on her nerves. After that, she held the pink fluffy girl's hand, and they went to talk to her teacher. I quick put my mittens on, and I buried my face in their black fluffy fur. And I danced around real joyful. Chapter 8. I am not a crook. The next day, I went to principal's office. The grouchy typing lady looked over the counter at me. I rocked back and forth on my feet. "Yeah, I'm only not even bad again," I said. "I just need to go to the lost and found, and that's all." The grouchy lady opened up the closet. She pulled out the big box. Just then, the phone rang, and she hurried up to answer it. I quick bended down and digged my hands in the lost and found. That's when my heart got very thrilled, 'cause I saw that wonderful teddy backpack again. That's why. I snuggled my face in its tummy. I still love this softy guy," I whispered. I put him on my back and skipped all around. The grouchy typing lady hanged up the phone. "Did you lose that too?" she asked me. "Is that why you're here?" I kept on standing there and standing there. "Well," she said. Finally, I did a big sigh. That's when I walked very slow back to the box. And I took off the teddy backpack. "No," I said. Not why." After that, I reached into my pocket, and I pulled out my wonderful 10. "I found this," I said. "It was on the floor by the water fountain, and I really, really love it. Only that is not the issue." Then I did a big, deep breath, and I dropped my wonderful pen into the lost and found. "I am not a crook," I said, kind of quiet. grouchy typing lady looked nicer at me. She ruffled my hair. "No," she said. "Of course you're not a crook." After that, I rocked back and forth on my feet some more, and I waited and waited and waited. The typing lady raised her eyebrows at me. "I'm waiting for the grin," I explained, "only there seems to be a delay." She laughed right out loud. That's when I felt it. The grin, it came right on my face. "Hey, it's working," I said real squealy. I skipped all around the office very happy. Then the typing lady opened up the door, and I skipped all the way to room 9. And guess what? I didn't even find the pen that writes 4 different colors. And that was a big relief. The end. Hope everyone liked the story.